everyone, and welcome to the second annual Your Healthy Mind Summit. I'm your host, Dr. Kirstin DeWitt, licensed naturopathic doctor and acupuncturist. And for this masterclass, I have with me Dr. Kirstin Kraft to talk about negative thoughts and reprogramming your mind. Dr. Kirstin is a naturopathic doctor with a passion and expertise in improving the brain and mental health of her clients and helping them heal without detrimental thought patterns holding them back. She practices virtually and works with people from all over the world to assist them in creating well-being in their lives. So thank you so much for being here, Dr. Kirstin. I'm so excited to have you here. And I'm really looking forward to hearing, your sharing of your wisdom with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And I'm so excited too. So I guess I'll just jump right into it.
Yeah, I'll let you go ahead and take it away.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to talk about negative thoughts and reprogramming your mind, how to reprogram your brain to work for you. So the first question I have is, what do you think is the culprit of most of the limiting beliefs that we have? Give it some thought as we move to the next slide. If you guess negative thoughts, you're correct. So what constitutes negative thinking? Negative thinking refers to a pattern of thinking that you're thinking negatively about yourself and your surroundings. While everyone experiences negative thoughts and has negative experiences now and again, negative thinking seriously affects the way that you think about yourself and the world around you. And it even interferes with work, study, and everyday functioning. It could also be a symptom of mental illness, including depression, anxiety disorders, personality disorders, and schizophrenia. So, research suggests that we have anywhere from 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts every single day. 80% of those are negative. 95% of those negative thoughts are the same repetitive thoughts. It's been proven that our thoughts have a huge impact on our health, well-being, and lives in general. So what can we do to program our minds so that our thoughts are working to our advantage? Before we go any further, I just want to say that negative thoughts are something that we all experience, no matter how positive we are. We're all going to get them from time to time. The key is to learn how not to allow them to negatively affect our states of mind in full and our mental health. So, how thoughts can affect your emotions and mental health? I think the most important part at first is to realize that they do affect your mental health. And emotions are something that we freely experience without judgment or attachment. And repressed emotions, especially the negative ones, can zap our mental energy, negatively affect the body, and lead to health problems. Negative attitudes and the feelings of helplessness and hopelessness can create chronic stress, which can upset the body's hormonal balance, damage the immune system, and as most of us know, chronic stress can drastically decrease the lifespan. Science has now identified that stress shortens lifespan, and it shortens our telomeres at the end caps of our DNA strands. So this will cause us to age more quickly. Poorly managed or repressed anger or hostility is also related to a slew of health conditions, such as hypertension, which is high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, digestive disorders, and infection. And it also impacts mental health negatively, which is what we're going to focus on today. So negative thinking, the way that it affects mental health is that it makes you feel worse about the world in general, yourself, and the future. It contributes to feelings of low self-worth and makes you feel like you're not valued or effective in the world. And it's important to note that even if negative thinking isn't the cause of the mental health issue, it will exacerbate and worsen it. And psychologists have linked negative thinking to OCD, depression, anxiety, and chronic worry. So, negative thoughts are worry. So, most of us think negative thoughts at least once a day, multiple times a day. But it's hard to sometimes differentiate whether or not it's negative thinking or worry. And so, if you're someone that analyzes your thoughts, it can be challenging to differentiate this. Feeling sad about an upset event is normal, just as worrying about like something financially burdensome or relationship troubles is something that we all do from time to time. It's when these feelings are repetitive, pervasive, and it causes spiraling emotion that the problems start to arise. Awareness is the key to everything, really. When you're starting to heal, you have to know that it's there before you can heal. If it's cancer, good to catch it early. Awareness is key. So in regards to mental health, we have to be aware of what we take in, what we listen to, whether or not we're aware of it. So often, you can just open your phone and like click on an app, Instagram, and you don't have a certain reason to go on there, like to answer comments or do anything in particular. You just click on it just out of mindlessness sometimes. And then you may run across something that negatively affects you, which can cause your thoughts and maybe even your emotions to spiral out of control, even if you went into the situation in a great place, even in positive attitude. So you have to be aware of these unconscious habits that we do that can bring us there without us really being aware of it. Some quick tips to help with this in the moment. So you get a negative thought, talk back to it. It sounds kind of out there, but it really does help. If you talk back to the negative thought out loud or in your head, you can replace it with the opposite thought and the opposite and equal thought. Like, so you get a thought that says, I'm lazy. You can be like, no, what the work that I'm doing is enough. I'm doing enough. I'm fat. No, my body is strong. I'm healthy. I'm fit. I love my body, so you have to counteract those, and it helps you to then flip the script on it. You can also practice observing the thought without attaching to it. This is where quieting the mind and meditation comes into play. When you quiet the mind, you learn to be the observer of your thoughts rather than attached to them. So my favorite example is just like you kind of watch or observe the thoughts going across like a TV screen. You're not attaching to them and like digging deeper and thinking too deep into it. And which brings me to the next point: let it pass without taking it in. Let the thoughts pass without taking them in. And deep breathing. One of my favorite deep breathing methods is 4-7-8 breathing. So you breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and then release, exhale for 8. And so that can really help as well. How to not let it affect your mental health. So like I said at the beginning, negative thoughts, but how can we not allow it to affect our mental health and bring us down so much? Here are 5 questions that you can ask yourself the next time negative thoughts arise. You can do this exercise in your head. You can write it down. You can journal, whatever's comfortable for you. Number 1, is the thought true? Is there a basis for this negative belief at all? So question it and look and see if there's any reason that you should be thinking this. Many times it's just a fly-by-night thought that can, take control and start making you feel worse. Number 2, is the thought giving you power, or is it taking your power away? So this is really important. Most of the time, all the negative thoughts are going to be taking our power away. They're going to disempower us rather than empower us and make us feel good about ourselves. And so that's really key when you're trying to counteract them. Number 3, can you put a positive spin on this thought, or can you learn from it? And so that's kind of what we just talked about as far as replacing it with an equal and opposite optimistic thought about yourself. And number 4, what would you like your life to look like if you didn't have these negative thoughts? And so you can picture that or imagine that. And number 5, and this is a really crucial one, is the thought glossing over an issue that needs to be addressed. So a lot of the times we can look at our negative thoughts as helpers. Sometimes we're like, negative thought, get away, don't want to, don't want anything to do with you. And that's fine. But then on the flip side too, you also have to look at it as an indicator, as information. What needs to change? If I'm getting negative thoughts about my body, my financial situation, a relationship, then maybe that's information that you should look at and say, well, what can I do to change my finances, my relationship, my body, and so look at it from that perspective too. And that can really help you to make those changes in your life. And always remember that counteracting negative thoughts takes time and commitment. Often people require ongoing help from a mental health professional to change their negative thinking patterns for good. If you need help with this, feel free to reach out. So, how positive thoughts can impact health? It's amazing. So, most of us know about the placebo effect. The definition is a substance is given to a patient. The patient thinks it's going to have some therapeutic or healing benefit, yet there's absolutely no therapeutic or healing benefit. It's just that the patient believes that it is. So the patient believes it, and it's likely that whatever the patient or person believes, that's what the outcome or experience will be. And the opposite is true. If you believe that something will not work for you, then it's likely not to work for you. So if you're suffering or you're in need of healing, you're better off putting your belief behind that which you want to experience. So story time. One of my favorite studies that I've ever read is a study from the New England Journal of Medicine, published by the New England Journal of Medicine. And it's a controlled trial of arthroscopic surgery of osteoarthritis of the knee. So in order to be qualified for this study, you had to be 75 years or younger. Osteoarthritis of the knee had to be your diagnosis as defined by the American College of Rheumatology. You had to have moderate knee pain of 4+ or more on a scale of 0 to 10. You could not have had arthroscopic surgery in the last 2 years. There were 180 participants that were qualified for the study and chose to participate. Out of those 180 people, they were stratified into 3 groups according to the severity of the osteoarthritis. So grades 1 through 3, 4 through 6, and then 7 and 8. And these groups were equally divided amongst the 3 groups that were participating in the study. The 3 groups were lavage, debridement, and then placebo. Those were the 3 treatment areas that these 3 groups would receive. All of the patients provided informed consent, which included writing in their chart, on entering this study, I realized that I may receive placebo surgery. I further realized that this placebo surgery means that I will not have surgery on my knee joint. This placebo surgery will not benefit my knee arthritis. All of the participants had to sign. They were unaware of which group they would be assigned to. So in the OR, in the operating room, the orthopedic surgeon received a sealed envelope with the procedure assignment, which was not revealed to the patient at all. The first treatment, lavage. 10 liters of fluid were used to lavage the knee joints. So anything that could be flushed, the cannulas, was removed. They removed meniscal tears if any were found, and then smoothed it to a stable rim. Debridement, the second procedure. The knee joint was ravaged with the same 10 liters of fluid. Rough articular cartilage was shaved, which is called chondroplasty, and loose debris was removed. So all of the torn meniscal fragments were trimmed, and the remaining meniscus was smoothed to a firm and stable rim. The placebo procedure. A standard arthroscopic debridement procedure was simulated, which means they didn't do anything structural to the knee at all. So after the knee was prepped, draped, 3 1-centimeter incisions were made into the skin. The surgeon asked for all the instruments and manipulated the knee as if the arthroscopy was being performed. Saline was splashed to simulate the sounds of lavage. No instrument ever entered the portal for arthroscopy. The patient was kept in the OR for the same amount of time as a typical procedure and was required to spend the night to be cared for by nurses who were unaware of the treatment group assignments. So the results. As you can see from the chart on the y-axis here, this was the knee specific pain scale, and on the x-axis, this is the time that passed. This is how long they followed the participants in the study, and so they followed these participants up to 18 months post-surgery. The red dotted line signifies the debridement, the blue dotted line signifies lavage, and the black solid line is placebo. And as you can see, the placebo group had the best results from a pain perspective. And the study concluded that the placebo group had greater relief, and at no point did they ever, the group that received arthroscopic surgery, have any greater healing than the placebo. And there was no evidence of the superiority of the arthroscopic procedures over the placebo procedure in relieving pain or improving function. And remember that they followed these people for 18 months. So this wasn't just like an immediate, take on this. So this study provides strong evidence that the arthroscopic lavage with or without debridement is not better than the placebo procedure in improving knee pain. And at some points during the follow-up, objective function was significantly worse in the debridement groups than the placebo. So this just shows you our brains and belief. And so the Mayo Clinic has come out and said that health benefits of positive thinking include increased lifespan, which we hit on earlier with the telomeres, lower rates of depression, lower levels of distress, greater resistance to common cold, better physiological and physical well-being, better cardiovascular health, and reduced risk of death from cardiovascular disease. You also will have better coping skills during hardships like loss and other times of stress. So, some ways to stimulate the power of the mind. A positive mental attitude. And this is just kind of bringing everything home to what we discussed. The belief behind whatever you're going through, the placebo, the belief is powerful. When the mind believes something, it's going to go down to the cells physiologically, and you'll see evidence of that. Quieting the mind and meditation, whole foods, anti-inflammatory diet, proper and quality sleep, movement and exercise, deep breathing, and there are tons of natural treatments, but my favorites are botanicals, constitutional hydrotherapy, and sauna. And prayer and practicing spirituality is also highly effective to stimulate the healing power of the mind. So our minds have the power to create disease and heal from it. I can't read this part, but with this power, along with nutrient-dense foods, healthy living, and a positive mental attitude, we can recover from both mental and physical issues. And so I think that pretty much wraps it up. And I apologize, I couldn't read the quote. The quote is kind of cut off, so I couldn't read the whole thing, but that's pretty much sums up what I was saying. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Yay, thank you so much. And the beginning of it just says, when we use this power along with nutrient dense foods.
Can you read it for me? Because it's like the pictures right here.
Yeah, it says our minds have the power. Our minds have the power to create disease and heal from it. When we use this power along with nutrient-dense foods, healthy living, and a positive mental attitude, we can recover from both mental and physical health issues. So thank you so much. This was so insightful, and I think everyone got quite a lot of tips out of this on how they can begin to shift their negative thinking and why it's so important to just gain greater awareness of the thoughts that are filling our minds, right? And the time that takes. So I would just like you to share, where can everyone find you? Where can they tag along and learn more about you?
Yeah, so my main thing is Instagram as far as social media goes. So you can find me, you can find me at wellbeing doc, all one word,
Mhm.
WELLBIBEING doc. Um, and yeah, I think that in my website and everything, my contact information is linked there. So you'll be able to find me there. Email is listed. And I think I even have text on there for my
Yeah.
business phone number.
Yeah. And I
And
was
so,
just going to say, how can people work with you?
yeah, so my link to my website, I think it should be on my Instagram for sure. It's goldenu.com, GOALDENU.com. So like goal, having a goal, denu.com. And so you can go there, sign up. I offer email and consultations via Zoom and phone call. So either one. So you can work with me virtually as long as you have a computer or a phone or email address, we can do it. So if you need help improving your mindset, improving your mental health in general, and getting rid of those negative thought patterns that can plague many people, then that's what my expertise is. So
Wonderful.
thank you so much. This was fun.
Yay. Thank you so much for, again, just sharing all of this information and really helping people gain clarity on what they can do to help themselves. So thank you
It's a big
again.
one, I think. Yeah.
And we will see you in the live Q&A.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, everyone.